Hey there, everybody. Welcome back with the Purplatypus today. And today I'm going to go over kind of a similar video to what we did yesterday. But instead of going over three characters I think you shouldn't sleep on, I'm going to go over light cones, which are kind of like an equipment thing. But you're going to get a lot of these while you're doing your early polls, especially a lot of the 3-star ones. So I figured that I would take a look here at the light cones and kind of just give you an idea of which of the 3-stars I think are worth using. Um, or at least what my three favorite ones are, right? There's a lot, and different characters could use specific ones to good effect, but I'm going to give you the ones that I think are the best. So you'll be able to tell because I've been cheating because I've been putting them higher up. So one thing I think is important to consider when using light cones is not just what the effect does, but it has to be the effect combined with being able to be equipped by a character that could use it, right? I think a perfect example would be of a thing with a good effect that I don't think is that good of a light cone currently with the characters that I have is something like Hidden Shadow. This is not one of the three, but I'm just giving an example of why I'm analyzing things the way I am. After using a skill, the wearer's next basic attack deals additional damage equal to 60%. So this would be something that would be really cool on a character like Quinnog or whatever, right? Like, is that her name? Kinky here. But because she does a lot of basic attack stuff, you know, like her skill is a way to enhance her basic attack, but she can't even equip it. So that is something that I don't think is a good thing. So you got to keep this all in mind. But let's get to the actual ones that I consider good. First, I think Passkey here is great. So this is equipped on Iridation, and oh, sorry, there we go. And after the wearer uses their skill, additionally regenerate 12. This is at level 5. 12 energy. This effect can only be triggered one time per turn. So basically, you're just going to get extra energy every single turn. And the reason why I think obviously this is good, this lets you use your ultimates more, but especially ultimates on a lot of these erudition characters. I don't know how to say shit, all right? I don't know how to read. Are really good at, like, this character is a perfect example, right? Her ultimate will extend a debuff, right? It extends the duration of their shock state by 2 turns. And so the more you can use her ultimate, the more you can keep it up, the more you can just maintain a permanent shock state on all enemies. And she also, because she does more damage while enemies are shocked, so that kind of thing is just really good. But also, it's just plain powerful. Ultimates are very powerful things here in this game. And so being able to get 12 extra energy every turn, I think is just pretty darn good. Number 2 here that we're going to go with, where is it at? This one right here, Abundance. After the wearer uses their basic attack, their next action will be advanced forward by 18%. So the reason why this one I think specifically is good is because it is something you equip to Abundance. Abundance are like heal characters, right? So I have 2 different Abundance characters. They're both dedicated healers, essentially. And you don't need to usually heal every single turn, and you need to time your heals in an effective way. And I find that this is a good way to, one, this makes them better at generating skill points for the team. So your damage dealers could be using their skill points to break enemies and deal damage. However, this also means that you're not waiting as long between their turns. So the windows of how long you need to survive before you gain access to healing again is smaller. So like if the more turns they get, the better they are at healing when they need to. But also it's good because they want to be using basic attacks when they're not healing, because you don't want to use a skill when everyone's at full. So this is a way to get a benefit out of a basic attack, while also, so you get to generate more resources for your team while also making it easier to heal, and thus, you know, getting extra turns makes your ultimates up as well. So I think this is good specifically because it's good on healers. So very, very powerful thing in general. Obviously, it has to be equipped on Abundance, but that is exactly why I think it is good. I would probably use this on some other characters as well. Some of the basic attacks can get pretty strong, but for the Abundance characters, I think it's a special role because they're mostly resource generators until they're healing anyway. And then finally here, where was it? Where did I hide it? It was maybe it's not up here. Oh, it's probably level 1, because I just haven't used it that much. But it's because I got a lot of the 4-star stuff now. But Saga City here. when the wearer uses their ultimate, increase attack by 48% for 2 turns. Now, the only thing about this that I'm not 100% sure is if this actually increases the damage of the ultimate itself. Does this go off after the ultimate is done, or once you activate your ultimate, will you get this buff? That I'm not sure. Regardless, though, regardless, the reason I really like this is because it's an edition. Now, so a lot of the ones that I like, obviously the first one I did was also that, but this one I think is way better because it's on these guys, because it increases your attack by 48%, right? That, like, there is something like, right, you could just get a flat 40% permanently if you're destruction, but I actually think this is better for these characters because increasing your attack by 48% for 2 turns, you get to use it more than once a turn. If let me elaborate this, we're going to use Serval again here, but like, she applies a damage over time, right? The damage over time scales with her attack. It does 40% of her attack. So by increasing your damage, you're also going to increase the amount of damage over time enemies take when their turn comes up. And also, every time she attacks, she also gets an additional damage based on her attack. So like, even though you get to use it on your turn to pretty good effect, you also get to use it on the enemy's turn when they come up, because the shock that you're going to keep extending can be used multiple times a turn. Combined with something like another character you could use there is Herta, right? She also likely gets to use it more than once per turn, because even though her thing is going to be sticking to once a turn, she also has the ability to do follow-up attacks when it's not her turn, right? So you're going to be able to get extra damage based on when other of your allies lower things. So even though it won't be her turn, she'll be able to come in and do attacks. So you get a double dip on a lot of these characters for that kind of reason, and I think that's what kind of makes it extra powerful. Now, I don't think this character specifically here is actually super insane at it, because you don't, this is a character that doesn't really double dip in it. But I'm just kind of looking at the characters that can equip it and what they get out of it. Basically, I like when you could double dip and get that effect more than once a turn. I think that's what really puts that above. But overall, those are the 3 that I thought were like, that stood out to me as being like extra good in the early game. Obviously, like, all characters need to have something equipped, so I just have some equipped that are not insane. Like, I don't have that many. This is the only character that I have of what, Nihility, and I don't use that many preservation characters, so I don't really focus on that much. But I mean, like, all of them are useful in certain situations, but you really got to find a character that wants them, which is why I've really found all the 3 that I've listed to be very good specifically with the characters that I'm using them on. Like, this one is, again, I think it's really good on the several. I forgot what her name is already, but I decided to use this one for energy because I like to keep the shock buff up constantly, but I think they're both very, very viable. As for this one, I like to keep it on my healer. That way, I mean, it is a healing thing, but I like being yeah, I'm using this over some of my 4 stars because I just like always having her turn almost ready to come up, so she's always ready to heal. And then finally, yeah, this one here, just really good when you can get more than effectively 2 turns of effect out of it. And then if you get your ultimate up again in under 2 turns, then you're still have that buff that'll affect it again. So whatever. Now we're starting to ramble now, but those are my 3 favorite light cones right now. Let me know which ones you like and why you like them, which characters you think pair with them really, really well. And I'm trying to keep it specifically to 3 stars, right? We'll move to 4 stars as accounts grow and people get more stuff, but I don't want to go straight into 4-star stuff this early. We'll start getting into more builds and equipment and what an ideal character setup will look like, but we're not quite there yet. I'm not there yet, and a lot of the player base, I'm sure, is not there yet. Anyway, much love. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. I'll see you next time. I have to alt tab out of this game. I forgot. There we go. See you next time.